Welcome, 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 welcome all to the exam breakdown. My name is D. Kumar. It is a pleasure to have you here today. April 14th, 2025. Man, we're like halfway through April. That's pretty crazy. It's super exciting. It's almost tax day. Hope you guys are either filed or have filed your extensions, and hope everything's going good. Hope you had a nice weekend. We had a great one. It moved very quickly, as they typically tend to do, and it is a pleasure to be here on Monday to go through. And what we're going to do here today is we go through content to help you with exams, to get you through exams faster so that you can get licensed and move on. Think of the opportunity cost that you might be missing as you're trying to get through these examinations. And I'm just telling you, that's one of the reasons. Now, the big reasons why we're here is I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. I've been teaching for many eons and eons, ages. I enjoy meeting folks. I love helping people out. Don't ask me why. For some reason, this is something that I just need to do. It's a part of my DNA. I love to help people figure things out. And what I'm pretty good at is gamifying tests and thinking through things, and that critical thinking, sort of being your study buddy, really is what I end up being. Big shout out to a recent success, was Ruth Woods, a killer realtor, now soon to be a realtor in Florida. And I'm very proud just to report that she crushed her examination. So congratulations, Ruth. Very proud of you. For those of y'all in the Florida area, look out. She's moving to this market, and she's going to crush it. So it's exciting to know that we got another great professional just joining the ranks and going to light it up. So I'm looking forward to that. Ruth just took our master class, and it was great. Worked perfectly, and much success. Is so proud of this. And we're seeing tons of our students all across the channel passing exams and reporting back to us. We love it, love it, love it. Just keep it coming. And we absolutely love to hear the good news. It's so awesome to watch people pass. Now, what I want to do today during the breakdown is, last week we were working on our cheat sheet, our most popular micro sort of product that we have available to our community on our Shopify store, on our store. So you just links in the descriptions, you'll find them there. Our cheat sheet is this amazing little tool of like cute little diagrams, and I was going through several of the images last week. I'm going to do the same thing for the time that we have today during the exam breakdown. I'm just going to look over my shoulder, make sure everybody is hearing me and everything else. That sounds good. That sounds good. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through some of this stuff. We're going to cover some topics. I believe today we're going to start right in with fair housing and sort of the what to know, the things to know, and we're going to look at some dates. And then we're going to move forward. At the end of the exam breakdown today, I'm going to also show you two amazing new downloadable products to help you with studies. Things that help you get reoriented with what you need to study and sort of what you can avoid. Big proponent of eliminating the nonsense. And our masterclass, for example, does that. It's condensed into this amazing, virtually a 6-hour program where you can cut out, 80% of the nonsense that you don't need to worry about, and we focus only on the things that you need to, getting you licensed faster. And so the idea here is to make sure. So everything that we're presenting to you is to cut a little of the inefficiencies off and to help you. So we'll get into those in a little bit. You're going to love those. We did a flash offer last week with our ebook, and we basically did phenomenal. People bought the thing, and they're passing and having a great time with it. So super excited to be introducing you those at the end of the program. And then right now I want to get into some of the content that we have here. And so we were looking at our cheat sheet. Again, this is one of our most popular digital products. It's just this really cute, I'll just show you like from a high level. It's like, all of these really cute diagrams, and there's a bonus. It gives you all the top 25 real estate terms that you want to know. And it's, it's really nice to look at. It's easy to ingest, and everything else. So that's what we were doing. We're kind of working on that. And this is like the cheat sheet. That's the product if you're looking for it in the store. And, I would also suggest maybe consider purchasing the thing as you're going along with me on this stuff. during the live sessions and also during the the pre-recorded things. And if you miss something, obviously comment in down below. If you're missing anything or if there's something you want some clarity on, go ahead and leave a comment. Let us know 100%. Absolutely. If you're passing your examinations, that's the good stuff. And if you're having anything that's difficult, a challenge with these things, let us know about that as well. I love trying to help people out, as you may be gathering if you're a subscriber to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, I'm going to try my best to impress you to consider subscribing and tell folks about our channel. We're growing and we couldn't do it without you. So please consider subscribing if it's within you to do so. And I'm going to work for that. So here we go. Without further ado, let's get into it. So with fair housing is professional practice, and that's like sort of a sector inside of real estate outlines that you're going to need to know. And I guarantee everywhere, everybody, every state is going to ask you questions on fair housing. Now, some states have more comprehensive protected classes, and some states have what are in line with the federal Fair Housing Act. And so you need to know these. You need to memorize all of your protected classes, which we're going to take a peek at in a moment. But I can assure you that these dates are going to show up. And these are the 4 popular dates that you need to know for fair housing. So the first one is 1866. I'm just going to kind of make some notes here. 1866, the passage of the Civil Rights Act of 1866. And you want to know that it prohibited racial discrimination in the sale, rental, or leasing of property. So in 1866, Civil Rights Act of 1866. You definitely want to know that. Now, the other thing that you want to know about the Civil Rights Act of 1866 is any violations to the Civil Rights Act of 1866. So obviously, if somebody is racially discriminated against, you can take the racial discrimination directly to federal court. And as a matter of fact, HUD, who is the enforcer of the Fair Housing Act, HUD stands for the Department of Housing and Urban Development. So HUD seats administrative law judges to listen to discrimination cases. So the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Then in 1968 is the year that we started calling this thing the Fair Housing Act. I'm just going to change the color to my pen. But you want to know this. 1968. That's the year that fair housing became law. So you want to know, it could be a simple test question, something like this. In what year did fair housing become law? And the answer, 1968. Now, this prohibited discrimination in the sale, rental, or financing of housing based on race, color, religion, and national origin. So like there's the big 4 here: race, color, religion, RN for religion, and national origin. So like in 1866, it was just race. Then we restated race, and then we color, religion, and national origin. You want to know these per date. So this is something that you definitely want to know. I feel like my head is getting chopped off there. Let's see. All right, there it is. There we go. Still chopped off, but whatever. All right. Then in 1974, we passed up this thing called the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974. It was an amendment that expanded the scope of the Fair Housing Act to prohibit discrimination based on sex. So we amended the Fair Housing Act in 74, and that we included sex. The passage of this thing in 74, the Housing and Community Development Act, went in tandem, by the way, with, in 1974, also the Equal Credit Opportunity Act. Which is also on your exam. Now, it is interesting to note that the Fair Housing Act and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act are in sync with the first 5 protected classes. Again, remember, it's race, color, religion, national origin, and sex. So these 5 protected classes, the Fair Housing Act and the Equal Credit Opportunity Act, are in sync. So you want to know where the similarities are, and you want to also know where the dissimilarities are between the federal laws, not the state laws, the federal laws. You will also probably need to know some of the bigger state protected classes in your state if you have substantially more comprehensive laws, like we do here in Massachusetts. We have more protected classes, so you do need to know the more popular ones or buzzworthy ones for the exam purposes. Now, in 1988, we further amended the Fair Housing Act to expand protections to familial status and disability. So in what year was the Fair Housing Law included disability? 1988. Familial status. The ability, by the way, to live with someone under the age of 18 on a full-time basis, basically kids. And so familial status protections really emerged as you started to see more and more discrimination with families with children in housing. And so with that, and then lead paint became an issue, and there was a lot of discrimination based purely on the fact that the property was old and it had lead paint. So all of these different things are the changes and the amendments. You definitely want to know the amendments to the Fair Housing Act. You also want to know the protected classes. You want to know the dates that they added these things in. So the 88 amendments were really important, and they love testing on them. They do go into things like familial status and the lead paint discrimination. They do go into over 55 communities, as you're probably learning about in your real estate courses at wherever you're taking them. By the way, this stuff that I teach is good in every single state, everywhere, anywhere, at any time. This is going to apply to much of your examination. Now, there are parts that I have zero, we try our best to help folks with state stuff, but this is national. And for the most part, even for the state-specific items, you're going to find thematically that the stuff that I teach is going to apply, so you're going to improve no matter what you do if you're just ingesting our content. So you're doing a good job, hopefully, by hanging with us and learning a couple things. Let's check out the next slide. Let me just make sure these are going in line. Oop, 10. Here we go. All right, so the next thing is the protected classes. And there's a couple of little things here. So as we've learned in the previous slide, race, color, religion, sex, national origin, familial status, and disability. And there's 7 protected classes. And these are the same 7 that you want to know for exams. Note, many states have additional protected classes in addition to these federally protected classes. Like sexual orientation is protected in Massachusetts. Gender identity is protected here. Military status is protected here, just to name 3 of a list. And so you want to know these for sure. You have to memorize these. And you want to remember that the 5, this one, race, color, religion, national origin, and sex, are the same for Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Fair Housing Act. Now, don't confuse, I just wrote FHA here, not to be confused with the Federal Housing Administration, but FHA here in this example just means Fair Housing Act. With disability, by the way, you definitely want to know a couple of different nuances with that, and also with familial status outside of the dates. You want to kind of know that over 55 community. I'll just write 55. You want to know what the exemptions are there. You want to know what disability is and any modifications or adjustments that have to be made. Now, with one thing that you do see sometimes on exams is this whole concept about service animals. And service animals are not considered pets. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, property with a no pet policy must still make reasonable accommodations for service animals. Now, there is a slight variation between what is a support animal and what is a service animal. However, the support animal is still serving a purpose, but a actual service animal, either a canine or like a pony or whatever, is going to be not classified as an animal in terms of being a pet. And that's pretty important to know. So you want to kind of know these bits and pieces as you're learning about them. Now, this next slide, definitely on exams. These are called prohibited practices. All of these phrases that we're going to look at, these 3 big ones right here, are on every real estate examination in every state: redlining, blockbusting, and steering. Discrimination in advertising is also addressed on exams. And so creating housing advertisements that show a preference or an exclusion of a specific individual or groups based on any of the protected characteristics, including race, religion, or familial status. And you want to understand that you're going to see that. Another thing is that kind of goes hand in hand with discriminatory advertising is truthfulness in advertising. And you'll see that with the Truth in Lending Act, just to kind of tie two things together. But you're going to see these, and you want to know these for sure, like redlining. You want to know what redlining is? Redlining is a discriminatory practice where financial institutions unfairly deny loans, mortgages, or other services to individuals in certain neighborhoods or areas, usually those with high minority populations. It's not making a loan or offering an insurance policy, but not making a loan in an area for reasons other than economic qualifications. So if the lender is denying the applicant for no good cause, then that is redlining if it happens to be because of protected class status. So redlining is something that collecting data from lenders is one of the reasons why they do that, to make sure that there's no redlining happening when it comes down to it. Blockbusting is another big one that you tend to see on exams. So blockbusting is basically panic selling, and this is a real estate violation, which is why you will see it many times on exams. I'm going to also write here. Panic selling. And in terms of panic selling, I'll also write it here. Just erase it here. Also draw a little arrow. Wham. All right, so blockbusting is also referred to as panic selling on exams. And this is the illegal practice of instilling fear in homeowners that home values will decrease due to the changing socioeconomic demographics in order to convince them to sell their houses for potentially lower prices. It's the there goes the neighborhood scenario. Fear selling, panic selling in order to do that. Now, discriminatory blockbusting is when you are scaring people because of the changing community based on protected class. However, you could see blockbusting examples that are not discriminatory blockbusting, where a real estate professional is trying to scare someone because the entrance of a new highway system across the land could increase traffic flows, decreasing value in the property, etc. Right? So you could see some sort of an argument that way. That's not discriminatory blockbusting. That is still panic selling, but it's not discriminatory blockbusting. I've seen practice questions over my time that split hairs there. So you want to read the questions very carefully and say, hey, is this discrimination? Is this one of those protected classes? And if it's not, then you got to be careful as you're reading the answers. By the way, I don't have a copy of your examination. I do have a decades long targeting system that I've been honing plenty of skills, training tens of thousands of people over the years with a very high success rate of helping people get through examinations. So that's where all of this comes from, and lots of research, lots of practice, lots of learning, and kind of checking out what's out there and kind of giving you feedback. And that's how I do this. We do this programming. As we're learning about this stuff, we kind of disseminate it that way. So I want you to know that the stuff is credible, and we have high target probabilities of where these things tend to go. Now, the next one is called steering. Steering is the discriminatory practice of guiding home buyers towards or away from certain neighborhoods based on their race, ethnicity, or other characteristics. So, steering, this is a little interesting. You're looking at the definition here, and this, again, is discriminatory, right? So we're looking at the discriminatory practice when we're dealing with protected classes towards or away from a certain area based on their race, ethnicity, or other characteristics. So with steering, there's, like blockbusting, there's this idea of discriminatory steering, right? So you're looking at those protected classes constantly. However, economic steering is fine. Let me explain. You're showing a client or customer, potential client or customer, a property that they're interested in renting, and they're looking at an area, and their budget is let's say $4,000 a month, and they're looking for let's say they're looking for a 2-bedroom, right? And then there's some areas in Boston, for example, where we're right out of that are not going to be feasible, right? For that price range. I mean, that's a pretty good price for a 2-bed, But in some areas, like in the Back Bay, you're not probably going to find a huge amount of inventory at that price point. So if you say, hey, listen, what's your budget? The budget is maxed at this $2,000, but I'd like to live in the Back Bay, and you don't have units in the Back Bay that will fit that budget, then you can easily say, well, we don't have anything that'll fit that particular budget. If there's any room in your budget, this is the baseline of what we have. But if not, we have several units in these areas. Are you interested in these areas? And we steer them towards another area because of the affordability, and that's not discriminatory steering. So you just, again, read the questions very carefully. They play around here. And so these are things that you many times will see on these types of exams and these specific sections. So just remember that that's the trick when you're looking through it. All right. See what else I can grab here. Ooh, let me do this one. And then I love this little cheat sheet. I think it's cute. Dare I say, I like it. Moving on from discrimination, and we'll land here. Water rights are definitely simple on examinations. These are definitely there. And you just want to know the basic ones, like, you know, the simple ones like these. Littoral rights versus riparian rights. And then there's something called the doctrine of prior appropriation. And I'll just kind of mark that for you. It's right here. And so what are these? First off, water rights are on examinations. There are two main water rights, and then there's a water scarcity right, right? And like those are the three big ones. So littoral rights are the rights of property owners whose land borders large navigable bodies of water, such as oceans or large lakes. So with L, think of L for littoral, L for lake or large lake, or the O in littoral for oceans. And so littoral rights deal with large tidal bodies of water, such as Great Lakes and oceans. These owners have the right to access and use the water up to the high water mark. They can typically use the water for recreational purposes and may have rights related to docks and boating. Littoral rights are about properties adjacent to these significant bodies of water. And the remembering thing here is large lake or O for ocean. So littoral rights and oceans. The average high water mark is where typically the ownership extends to. Now, riparian rights are common throughout also. They apply to property owners along smaller, more non-navigable potentially bodies of water, like rivers or streams. These owners have the right to reasonable use and have access to the water for domestic purposes, like drinking and irrigation. Riparian rights also come with the responsibility not to unreasonably interfere with the rights of others that are downstream. So just think of riparian R for river. A river is flowing, smaller bodies of water. Now, with riparian rights, you could have navigable or non-navigable. I just wrote navigable versus non. And if it's a navigable waterway, then the ownership again extends to the average high water mark. If it's non-navigable, then it could extend to the center of the stream. So you want to read the test question. Sometimes you might see a test question like that where they're talking about navigable versus non. And you want to kind of know that for the exam. And then the doctrine of prior appropriation, off to the left here, is water scarcity issues. So prior appropriation is a water rights system used in areas where water is scarce, like arid regions, and it follows the principle of first in time, first in right. This simply means that the first person or entity to begin using the water for a beneficial purpose, and that's like the buzz phrase, beneficial use, such as irrigation, gains the right to continue to use that amount of water even if others later come along. It's less about the property location or more about who used the water first. So prior appropriation is for water scarcities. And it's a lower probability than Riparian and Littoral that would show up on the exam. So you just want to know that in my opinion, I would focus on Riparian and Littoral. You may see prior appropriation. Now, the good news, you're not going to see a lot of questions. The good news is that you won't see a lot. The bad news is you won't see a lot because these are pretty easy. So make sure you nail the simple questions like that. Mark questions, jump around. I'm a big believer in that kind of thing, and come back to them. And, with these, answer them. Be careful, though, however. So with these types of questions, because they're fairly straightforward, the test writers might be very deceptive or very crafty when they come up with their questions around these things. So look for phrases like navigable, non-navigable. Read the answers very carefully before you make a judgment jumping into that, okay? All right. So there is that, my friends. Let me show you two other really, really cool things that we're just releasing now. And I wanted to show you. First off, brand new to our arsenal is this amazing 48-hour study plan. And it's available on our store right now. It's actually one of my favorite products, and I'll tell you why. Students always ask, hey, what do I study, right? Like, it's like, what do I study? I'm taking this thing in 2 or 3 days. And, really what I kind of add to that is like, what do you not study? What can you ignore? What do you forget? Like, how do you just, to reduce the level of anxiety? Think about if you had a plan of action 2 days prior to an exam. And so what we did here is we basically broke this down, and we did it so that it keys and locks up with our YouTube channel. So it's a budget-friendly way for some students to be able to do it. Again, the Cadillac of everything is my Exam Essentials program, which in essence, you're getting me with detailed analysis and high heuristics and time and amazing video content and everything else, and like killer battle-tested questions, etc. But this program here, this little product, is so cool because it gives you this amazing guide, this simple plan of action, and you can pull it off in like 3 to 4 hours over 2 days. So it's crafted for that. I'm just going to scroll through this just to kind of show you, who this is for. And again, it condenses essential exam content into like super manageable study plans. And it provides a structured learning path, which is amazing, which you can pull off in 3 to 4 hours. So if you get 2 days before your exam, now you know what to study with this program. It includes 40 pages of awesomeness, focused, high priority content, and it features 2 practice exams, 1 for each day. It comes with 50 awesome high probability vocab phrases. So we've condensed it down to 50, and that curates all of the correct in order YouTube videos with QR codes. So as you know, maybe that's how you found us. You found a lot of YouTube videos. And thank you so much for all the wonderful comments. They've been doing great. And I mean, did you know that our practice questions series is so amazing? It's crushing it for some people on exams. And like, this is all they need. And here we're kind of giving you the codes. We're giving you exactly what to study and what to do. So we're taking the nonsense out of it and giving you the overall, here, study this, do this. And it comes with quizzes, and it comes with some notes sections and everything else. I mean, it inspires confidence when you're entering the exam room. Trust me, it alleviates the anxiety, the last minute, what do I study kind of feeling, and it creates this peace of mind. And it's an awesome killer product. It is available right now on our store. Grab one. You're not going to be sorry. You're going to dig this thing. The 48-hour real estate exam study plan. And then, of course, there's like the standard that we are like seeing so much activity. We are so honored to do this because we know this is working. We have a more comprehensive study guide. Now, this is a beefed up version. So if you have a little bit more time, this is more blown out, right? It has a lot more things that you could be working on. And it comes with more than 50 pages. It includes the cheat sheet that we were just talking about in like those cool images. So it comes with the cheat sheet itself integrated into it. It features some, math reference guides. I'm just reading from the note queue. So it's got some really cool math. It's got key vocabulary review sections. It's got matching. It's got practice exams. It's got a glossary. It's got a flashcard template. instant downloads, and they're available right away. So like this thing is awesome, the study guide. It's got so much stuff. I'll just go to the table of contents here and show you this. So it's got the cheat sheet that we were looking at some of those images. It's got the math cheat sheet, which goes through only the key essential math pieces. Things like gross rent multiplier, things like the T-circle approach, mortgage commissions, etc. And it's got the top 100 real estate vocab matching sheet. It's got a 50-question practice exam and a 50-question answer key with the answers and a glossary with a printable blank template for your studies. And again, this is also available on our store. It is awesome. It is very popular. Folks love, love, love the digital ebook. It builds like super confidence when you're thinking about what do you need to study. It's taking away the anxiety. It creates peace of mind knowing that you actually know what to study and what not to study. And it sort of gives you this sense, and this is what I've heard from other students, it gives you this sense of calmness. Like you kind of know what you want to be focusing on, you know what you don't have to focus on. So this calmness walking into the exam, it's almost like you're making the exam work for you versus it working you over. Knowing stuff going in is always valuable. And it's usually the last minute stuff, the last minute preparations that you have to worry about. All right. So hopefully those will fit your fancy. If you're looking for them, they're available for instant download right on our store. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the exam breakdown. My name is D. Kumar. It is an absolute pleasure to be with you. I hope some of this stuff is going to help you pass your exam. And I hope the time that you spent with me yields you much success. Good luck with your studies and good luck on your tests. I want to keep hearing your successes, and I'm going to keep working until you all pass and you can get licensed faster so you can get on with making some money. And that is that. All right. So again, thank you. If I've made some converts, please subscribe to our channel. That would be fantastic for those subscribers that are watching and supporting us. We couldn't be here without you. We have so much gratitude towards you. I can't even begin to express. We're growing by leaps and bounds, and it is so thrilling to watch how many folks we're able to reach and help. All right. We will see you on Wednesday to my mortgage loan originator buddies. That's when we deal with the exam breakdown for your particular test. I know there's lots of questions, lots of concerns, lots of people looking for help in that particular sector. And I know the material really, really, really well, and I'm going to try my best to be able to help you get through that exam. It can be a challenge as well. Good luck, everybody. We will see you on Wednesday. Have a really productive, awesome week, and we'll see you soon.